Today we are going to do a tutorial about outpainting. Outpainting is a little bit different from inpainting, but it has very similar principles. It's just when you're trying to do an outpainting thing, right? Imagine that you're trying to create a bigger image from, let's say, like this case sample window was the image, right? Outpainting is basically like, I want to make this image bigger, but I want to keep everything here intact. That's basically what you're doing with outpainting. And if you think of it as something as simple as just expansion, and then we're trying to blend the expansion together with the original image, that's basically what outpainting is. Inpainting is like, you know, you already have what you're looking for, and then you're just adding stuff in. So let's say that we're making a portrait, and then later on we wanted to expand on it. And the reason I'm setting it up like this is because I want you to see the prompt for the image itself first, so that way you know that we're gonna need that to help us create a lot of coherence when we do the blending and all this kind of stuff. You'll see, I guess. So, a koala bear wearing a, I don't know, I have no idea at this point, in a tree. Let's just see what this does. So again, we're producing an image, and then from that image we want to expand outward from that point in the middle of the image, or it could be on the side. You could dress it up however you want. So what we're going to do is we need to start from load image. So what I'm going to do is, when this spits out whatever it spits out, I'm going to take that image and put it into this, and I'm going to make sure that this matches this when we do other things. So we're just going to keep building. From here, we just do a regular Flux encode for inpainting. This part right here actually is going to be really helpful in the end. But what we need to do before we do that, I need a better hat. I don't know, that looked like more of a safari hat than the last one. I'm running out of hat ideas. What kind of hat would a beanie? Yeah, let's do that, because anyways, we're just gonna go with that part. I say Outpaint. So use the comfy core one. So first we're gonna run it through here, then we run it through this mask, and yes, you're going to have to sample this again, so you need to have a case sampler. What we want to do is we come out from here, and we're going to keep forgetting we have to do this thing with Flux. Is it because I have to write them as two different words? Yeah, that's what it is. That's why it keeps giving me a hard time. I have to write it as two different words. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. So I want to do something else really quickly too. This is a little pro tip to get this thing closer, because we're going to use it multiple times anyways. Reroute from the model. That way you don't have to keep going way back there. And then I'm going to do another reroute for the VAE. That way, again, I can just grab it from here. Alright, because we're using the same VAE, and they're going to have to use it again when we decode here. We'll have to keep going way further back. Little like pro tip type of thing. Have these little, especially for this. And if you're going to use the same, you know, conditioning, then do the same thing as well. You can do that with the clip as well, because we're going to use the same clip encoders, right? So just reroute, and boom. You've probably seen this before in some people's, or maybe you haven't noticed it because they try to like hide it or something like that. But it's a really good thing, so it's not having to go way back here all the time. Anyways, output image. We're also going to do preview image because I'm not planning on saving a bunch of this stuff. So basically, we've got this thing, right? And we're going to use this one. So dump this one here. And from this point forward, So I just press Control B after selecting all that stuff, because we're not going to run that part, with the exception of these things, which we still need. We're not going to run the rest of that stuff. We're just going to run this, because this is what we're now going to change. So we're going to expand it from the left, right here, and the right. So just go where your padding is and just do that, because we just want to take it out of the portrait format. So let's go, I believe this is in pixels, by the way, like 200 pixels. 200 pixels on the right. All right. Not gonna touch anything else just yet. So now the only thing you're describing from this point is what's here and here. Well, we said in a tree. So let's just say the branches of a wood forest. I don't know. I don't even know why I'm saying wood. Like, what else is in a forest? Let's just say of a forest. Alright, let's just go with that. And the parameters are basically the same, right? But we're gonna keep them the same. We'll set them to the same right here. Seed. Don't worry about everything else right now. Let's just run it. This is probably as basic as you can get for like the outpainting process. You don't have to go too fancy or too crazy with like all the stuff you're doing, but you're gonna see there's most likely gonna be a problem that results as we doing it just this way. Okay, so it's not that bad, except for the fact that you can clearly see it's framing it with the edge of this thing. Now, I don't know what the heck this is, so maybe my description isn't that great, because I didn't describe it that great inside of the original prompts either, which might help the situation. Oh, branches of a forest. That didn't even make any sense. Branches of a tree in a forest. That's why it doesn't even make any freaking sense what I just wrote. Like branches of a forest. Like what are the branches of a forest? Oh my god, this is too early for me right now. I need to go back to sleep or something. My brain is not fully on, and I'm trying to do a tutorial. It's like a bad idea. Not that much better, but you can see what it's trying to do, right? And for the most part, it tries to solve the problem of trying to blend it together by just creating this frame with these trees around it. And I didn't get a lot of information in there too, so that might be one of the other problems with it. So there's another solution to making this blend better. The smaller solutions you could do this is when you increase the feathering. The idea is like how much your image is feathering out to the rest of it. So this part feathering out here. So if we increase this, what do you think is going to happen? The difference between this, the mask, is this part right here. This is the mask, the thing that you're building with the padding, versus this part, which is the image. And you'll see, just from looking at it, that's probably not what you want to do. Right? It doesn't really look that good when you feather it out that much. So let's go. I think it was at, what was it, 40? I think it was at 40. Rather than growing that, and this, I think the highest value you can put here is like 64, I think. Match your value, your mask, with the feathering. This will kind of help blend it a little bit more, but for this specific picture, for what it drew or what it created, it's not that bad with the blending. It's just stuff like this, right? These plants don't seem to match up. As much as right here, it just seems like it's like blocked off that area. These are like two ways of solving this problem. The other problem is building an extra part to this workflow, which allows you to try to blend them together. In order to blend them, as you can see now, rather on this one's moving in towards it. Okay, so what I would do is choose the best one out of all these that seems like it blends together. Now it's probably this one, right? So we're gonna use that one as the next reference image. So the next part, again, this is where you see all these like crazy workflows for how big this gets when they do these outpainting things, why it becomes this way. The next part is trying to blend it all together. And the principle behind blending it all together is that it has to be recreated as another image in order for you to do that. So let's load an image again. Now, there's also another way you could do this rather than like loading the image this way. Again, if you don't want it to be like this thing where I have to keep dragging and dropping. The other way of doing it is how we were doing before when we were talking about like you could make a preview image. I think I said this in the other one before. Like the preview image is like tells you what it looks like, but you can also feed this as if it was feeding into something like re-encoding it, right? Like this. Or again, depending on what you're doing with it. Like for instance, our goal right now is to basically re-encode this because we're gonna do another one of these. But the difference is what we're pulling from this time is gonna be from this because we want the same image, and that's your original prompt. This is what I was saying about why I'm actually doing this without just like doing one little image I'm dropping down, is the original prompt will help us to rebuild the thing. Resample to the K sampler. I'm not gonna like tamper with that too much. Take this off. Okay, let's bring this over so just be a little bit closer. And we can just go to the model right here because it's the same exact model. Oop, what are you doing? Right? Okay. And the latent image is the last thing we encoded. So it probably won't work on this one because we're using this one instead of using this one right here. So, you know what? It doesn't matter. Just for the sake of the argument, I just want to show you that you can do this. This can feed this can feed this, and this can feed the other one. And we're in the K sampler. We need to decode again. And where's my rewrote? Right here. Oh my god, why do I keep doing that? Okay, then preview image. So basically what we're doing is this. This is the original concept for the image. And we want that original concept on the outpainted extended one. So that way when we re-encode whatever we're doing here, I don't know why that's that way, but we can set the circumstances of it the same. I'll remove this for right now. As for when it was this, so instead of growing the mask, we're gonna put it back at 6 where it was originally. So when this spits out this image, it'll use this image as a reference as it re-encodes it right through here, right? To make the next image based upon the same prompt, but it'll be bigger, wider. I hope that's not too confusing. I hope there's not too much information on the screen that you can't tell what I mean. Because there's a lot of stuff we're looking at right here. So maybe I can walk through as it does its process. Boom, boom, boom. It's re-encoding this, right? Now it's gonna do our padding. It's gonna spit out the image. Boom. What's the image it spits out? Okay, that. Boom. Now we're taking that image. Oops, sorry. Yeah, this one is right here, which it just made, and now it's gonna go back over it again with the original prompt from up here to try to blend it all together without any seams. Granted, it doesn't seem to have that many seams right here, but realize this, that this image that it's creating now, it doesn't see it as anything padded anymore. It's just, this is just another reference image. And that's how you create the newer image that makes it more seamless, is because it's not about seams anymore. It's just about whatever you talked about. Oh crap, I got this up pretty high. I just realized it's at 20. That's why it's taking so much longer. But whatever, that might make more of the seams go away, but I don't know exactly what it's gonna produce at that point. Yeah, it produced a whole new image. It maybe went a little bit too far, but let me turn that down. Sorry, because I really didn't mean to do that. And let's just go back to, well, let's do 12. We want a little bit more, but we also didn't do another thing, which will really affect how far it goes, is we didn't mess with the denoise. So it created a whole new image based upon that image, and the text, but it's really just creating a whole new image based upon the text, most likely with just a little bit of reference. So what we want to do is, let's just turn this down to like 6.5, right? We want to create pretty much the same image, but without you noticing that it's being framed like that. Again, I didn't use the best prompt, and that's probably why. Oh crap, now this one doesn't look that great. What did I do different here? Yeah, that one doesn't look that great. I don't really like that one. I like the other one better. You can see there's not much difference. This got foggy. So, being that I actually want to use, I really want to use that one. Let's just do this for the sake of like trying to get the image that we actually want, which is what this is about, right? Let's take this as our reference and get rid of where it was coming from originally, and then I think it was this one. Yeah, let's take that one, right? So we're using this as a reference image. We're still going to use this as the other one, but since we're using that one as a reference image, we don't need this, or this process at all. You can get rid of all that. None of that process needs to be run. So now we're using the reference image, the one we actually liked, and now we're only doing like a 6.5 difference of it, and it's still pulling from that prompt way up here from the original prompt. So we went from, well, let's look at it side by side. The idea is that it's supposed to look like it's part of a seamless image, and it honestly does look more seamless in the sense that, like, see how this like leaves that really don't make any sense that are like blurry here? They're not there anymore, and it doesn't look like a separate image. Again, it's not my best prompt, but I'll just run it again too. Let's just see what other version it is. The idea is that you're just trying to make it blend all together while expanding the image, and you just need 3 different stages to make it really work eloquently, I guess you could say. You know, I didn't think that the first version was that bad, but see, yeah, this one looks a little better, right? This looks more seamless than this little juncture right here. So the idea is that when you're doing this, you go through a few stages. And let's look at all this again so that way at least you can see it as I make the review of what we just did here. All the importance of all of these steps. Now you can see. Okay, so the first part is just producing the image. And the real reason why I say, you know, I like to do everything in the same window at least. Even though I consider them separate workflows, but it's actually just one workflow, but it's like different stages in this set of workflows that you could separate into different things. First areas that you're messing with, right? This area right here is basically just a normal workflow, not including this. This is just a normal workflow to produce an image, but you need the original text for the final part, you know, stage 3, I guess you could say. For the second part, it's just you're taking the reference image, and again, you could do, instead of doing that, you could do this. You could just, oh crap, you could just take this and seamlessly work it through here. I still say create the preview image, that way you can see what it looks like before it goes through. See what you come up with. And remember, you can always change this to fixed too when you like something. You take that image and then you load it into this. Then from there, you take it, you know, the VAE, blah, blah, blah. You do the VA encode for inpainting. First is outpainting, the padding for outpainting, then VA encode for inpainting, because now you're basically painting into this image based upon the padding that was created. Padding comes first, then you can paint into it. Then from there, from the case sampler to the VAE decode, and then you create your image with padding. And then you can take that, you can circle it back in to go from here to the VAE encode again, and then go right back to sampling it. Or you can do what we did in the end, which is create a loaded image. We load the image in from the selection over here because this is the one we like the best. And then take that image, resample it again, because here is where everything is being pulled together based upon this sample, the original prompt. Because you still wanted to do this, you just want more of it. You want everything to be included, the koala and the tree and all that kind of stuff. not from just this, because that's a different prompt. That's a different scenario. And you take that, and because you're now rendering just one image, it becomes seamless. You just use these little reference points, and most likely, if you do it right, it will brush up the edges. I would push up the steps a little bit more, just slightly on this one for the last part, and definitely denoise down. Take the denoise down, because you don't want it to do at one, it just creates a whole new image basically. Because it's almost as if you just, yeah, we'll use it as a reference, but you really don't care that it looks exactly like this or similar to this one. And that's basically it. That's outpainting. It's a little bit, well, it's a lot more complex than inpainting. But in all essence, it's really, to be honest with you, to do the actual, just the process itself, nothing more. It's really just take out this, take out that. If you just wanted to inpaint and nothing else, this by itself, well, you don't need these, but they're there. This by itself, just like you doing this, if you had an image already, right, and you just wanted to outpaint it, create those edges, that's basically what this is. Here, I'm just get rid of this. I didn't explain it this way at first because I don't assume people want to just do just simply this, but you could do it simply just like this. But you're just not going to have anything refined if you do it this way. But this is the most basic way of doing an outpaint. And I am doing everything else right. CFG, Flux, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, I think, yeah, we're doing everything according to that. Yeah. This is what you get. You can include the koala in it, that way it knows that it's there. But it doesn't really, it's not going to be as refined. It worked out a little bit right here, but then it got choppy right here. And that's why you need the other steps. You might not need so much to mess with the blending part, but in the end, if you want to make it seamless, you got to do that extra step, that third step where you're basically doing this whole image again down below. But again, I started with the first initial step was producing the image, and that's mainly because I wanted the original prompt for the image. That's why I wouldn't start from here and do it. But technically, right now, a koala in the branches of a tree in the forest, that's basically what you just described, right? Of course, I didn't describe the hat. A koala in the branches of a tree in the forest. Yeah, the other one actually had the hat in there. So I don't know. It might not do exactly the same thing if I try to do this as the final prompt without talking about the hat. Who knows? Maybe you can test it out. See what happens. But again, the principles of it just start with this. This is outpainting. Then the rest of the stuff is making it a lot cleaner. So that way you can produce an image that seems more seamless, kind of like this one came out. But that's it. That's outpainting in a nutshell. And I hope this was informative. I hope I demonstrated that without confusing people, because I kind of felt confused at certain points, to be honest. I don't know if that was too much, because I just kind of like woke up and was like, let me just do something about outpainting, and I didn't have any kind of like thing about how I'm gonna like explain this. So I hope it came out pretty decent. Thanks for watching. Do all that stuff that they say at the end of the video. I never say that the first part, because hey, you might not actually like it, so you might not want to subscribe. So I always say that at the end, because I feel like if you stay this long, hey, you might want to see some more stuff I gotta talk about. Anyways, please tell me what you want to see too, because that will really help more than anything else. Tell me what you want to see so I can create a tutorial on that. Thank you. Have a nice day.